So this is a tensioner pulley assembly off a 2005 Rav4. The bolt that comes out of here, this is the top part that it swivels on. The bolt that comes out of there actually runs into the side of the frame. And what I've seen some people do is take out the motor mount on that side, jack up the motor, and it looks like you have to go up about 3 inches on mine. But I'm not excited about taking motor mounts off. So I'm going to try a different approach. So here we are under the vehicle. This is the flywheel. This is the tensioner pulley itself. And it's going to be a little hard to see in this lighting, but right here is the 14 millimeter bolt that hits the side of the frame, and you still can't get it out of the hole at that point. On later models, they just have the water reservoir is right up above here. And on the 2005, they've got the power steering reservoir. I think those are brake lines right there. There is no good way to get that motor mount really loosened up and out of the way without pulling that stuff out of there. So anyway you look at it, I think it's a messy job trying to go that route. Right down through here, I've also got the water pump out. The water pump was bad. There's some leakage here that I found that was probably coming out from under the seal, and when I listened with the stethoscope, the housing on the water pump was the loudest, grainiest noise. And the lower bolt that goes right into this bracket from the alternator was actually broken off and missing. And my top bolt was loose and the alternator was rocking back and forth. I bought this thing about 6 months ago. It's got 190,000 miles on it. And I'm not surprised that once I got into it, I'm running into some stuff. So I abandoned my plan to go ahead and take this assembly apart. This is the old one. I stripped the head on this one, trying to get it off with a little pipe wrench. I saw one other guy manage to pull that off. In the end, I really wanted to replace the whole thing anyway. So here's the new plan. My neighbor had a Sawzall. I held this with vice grips from above, and he cut through it. We cut the head off. And once you got the head out of the way, this, the bolt comes out easy. So here's my revised version. There's the new pulley system, and there is a slightly shorter bolt. The one that I have is 80 millimeter, and the one that was there is probably 90 millimeter. I think it will fit in there. We'll find out. Here's the new tensioner pulley system back on, and I ended up taking that bolt out and putting it on in 2 separate pieces. It went on a lot easier. The hardest bolt to get to is that one right up there at the top. That's the one that's taking up all the space and making it hard to get in and out. I found that if I put it in 2 pieces, that bracket goes in pretty good if you can slide the bolt right up alongside of this pulley and keep the bracket relatively flat until you get that bolt up to where it goes into the block. And then this piece is really easy to put back on at the end. For me, that beats taking off the crankshaft pulley or the motor mounts and lifting the motor to put it back in. The only question is whether that smaller bolt I used will hold. It's still a super tight fit to try to get it in. This might help. I hung the new serpentine belt from my basket with a little weight on it out in the sunshine to warm it up and get some of the factory curves off it from the packaging so it'll go in a little easier. So I got everything back together. I found it fairly easy to get the serpentine belt on with my wife holding the breaker bar at the top, and I put it on to the tensioner pulley like that. Some people say they do the water pump last because it's easier for them. I couldn't make that work very well. This went a lot easier. And here's the top view with the alternator back in place and the belt on and everything where it belongs. So it sounds pretty good. I don't hear anything there that sounds like this stuff that was there when I decided to do the job. So if there's a problem, I'll let you know. I'll put it in the comments real soon, but I think we're good.